how these Wall Street market makers make money on your trades, because you don't need them anymore. And that's why when you watch and you see the New York Stock Exchange, you watch TV, and you're like, where the hell did everybody go? I remember that place to be packed, people running around. Now you don't. And this is why. Because it's people like you are now starting to realize that you could take matters in your own hands. But before we get started, still a quick little disclaimer, everybody, from our friends in the compliance department at Cybertree University. Just want to let you guys know that there is a very high risk of trading involving in trading. Past results are not indicative of the future, and Cybertree University and all its individual affiliates assume no responsibility in your trading results. To find more, you can visit the homepage of our website. Now, things we're going to learn today. Basically, I'm going to talk about the differences between the markets, okay? What is level 3, total view? You've been seeing so much information on TV about it, on CNBC, the big article on 60 Minutes, high-frequency trades. I mean, I haven't seen this much publicity since the crash, or I'll say the crash, of 2008. Well, that's what we're going to talk about. The KISS method, finding stocks, and so much more. So, let me tell you a little bit of myself, okay, and let you know why I'm here and why you need to understand why to trade. Now, I started trading back in 1995, okay, and just a little bit about myself is that when I first started trading, ladies and gentlemen, I was one of the biggest losers, lost so much money over and over and over again, and for one reason, ignorance. And most importantly, not being educated. Now, I live in New York. Fortunately, I was surrounded by some of the best traders, but being a 22-year-old kid, a punk kid that really didn't want to listen from my mentors, I says, what do I need to do? I'll do it myself. Well, lost miserably. Miserably. Fortunately, I had a couple of friends here that live in the area. I said, hey, Fausto, do you really want to learn how to trade? I'm like, I don't understand. I hear it's the most prestigious job in the world. Why would I not want to learn how to trade? Well, they said, you know what? Why don't you come down to my office, sit down, talk to my friend Frank, let him show you how to trade. Let's show you how us traders are really making money on Wall Street. So I did exactly that. I took the time after losing so much money miserably. I says, you know what? Let me go sit down and go in one of these so-called SOS firms, one of these day trading firms. And next thing you know, which you can see right here on the picture, boom, Forbes magazine wrote a bunch of articles, a bunch of kids tormenting Wall Street, high-tech, being a market maker, trading on the NASDAQ, sitting there plugging away, and watching these kids, and they're making, just like me, making literally $500,000, $10,000 a day. I'm like, what are they doing? And I'm watching them like, my God, they had technology that I didn't even know even existed. But more or less, not that I didn't know it existed, I just was being cheap because I don't want to spend the money. So, got involved, sat down. When I learned on the first day on the job, should have never, ever, ever made my first trade. I deserved everything that ever happened to me. Every dollar I lost, I deserved it. Why? Because I was an ignorant little kid, okay? And ladies and gentlemen, you guys are no different. If you're not making money in the market, you have to ask yourself a question. Who really taught you? Who really showed me how to make money? Am I one of those self-individuals that out there and learned? Hopefully not. But continuing what happened with me, well, over the years, actually in 6 months, I learned how to trade. I sat down. I spent hours and hours a day of education, took the time off, and in about 2 years, I was already semi-retired. That's right. I made so much money in trading that I was only working part-time. Now, how did I get into education? Because people, I mean, everyone here, everyone's always asking, hey, Fausto, if you're such a great trader, why do you teach? Well, first of all, I love what I do. I love teaching, okay? Secondly, being 24 years old was not really healthy for a kid to be semi-retired, and people kept asking me, could you teach me how to trade? Could you do this? Could you do that? Could you help me? And, you know, and then it just sprawled into starting one of the first schools in the industry because I started teaching people in 1995. And ever since then, I've been traveling all over the world. Like I said, just came back from Arizona. I've been to China, London. And the thing that I do is I don't just spend a lot of my time teaching. I do trade every day. Now, I don't know if anybody here is a student of mine, but you know I run my own professional trading room. I do broadcasts every morning, first hour, last hour. Okay? Now, also for some of you probably don't know is I'm also a 12-time champion. One thing I wanted to do, I says, you know what? I was a big competitor. And I says, you know what? I love teaching, but everyone says, well, Fausto, why would I learn from you? Why wouldn't I learn from another school to learn how to trade the market? Okay? Because there are a lot of people out there that were trying to teach day trading. Okay, and everybody wants to day trade, and you might not realize it, but you technically, if you're trading the market, you are trading. You're a day trader, and you know what? If you want to be a good swing trader, investor, one thing my mentors taught me, you got to learn how to day trade. So I traveled, and I went all over the world. I was actually featured on a documentary on what's that? A&E channel. A&E channel did this whole thing on day trading, and they take me on a trader's challenge. I went up against every school in the industry, whoever wanted to compete against me, and I beat every single one of them, and basically became a 12-time champion doing it. So I love what I do, and my students love it. Now the thing is this. You're here because you want to learn how to do this also. That's why you're taking the time to come to this MTI event or other several events, because you want to learn how to do what everyone else does. You want to learn how to make money like all us instructors, because that's why us instructors are here speaking today, because we want to teach you, we want to get you involved. Do you really think we like what Wall Street has been doing to you all these years? You think we like how they've been sitting there and ripping you off and trading against you? What do you need them for? You could do it yourself. But the thing is, you have to learn. You have to learn. Because online brokers, what they do is they trade against you. Now, from what you can see, ladies and gentlemen, some of you here take trading to a level that traders don't even look at. You get so complicated and so everything. We're going to talk about that. But the thing that you all have to understand is, what do you need them for? Why do you need to give them the money to buy stocks and trade against you? Because that's what they're doing. I hate to say this is like a casino, but you know what? You do a trade through them. They know trading is an 80% failure rate for people like you trading on your own. Okay? So why even go out there and give them the order and let them try to make money in your order? Because everyone's asking, well, how do they do that? You know, I hear about these online brokers, and, you know, you hear about them trading against you and all that. Well, let me talk about one of the most highly disclaimed on your trading accounts that you've probably never seen. Something called payment for order flow. Now, I don't know if you ever read this in the back of your account statements, but this is how online brokers make money on your order. They basically take your order, you email them, and they're going to sell it to another brokerage firm like Knight Securities, which you just saw earlier, sell it or try to get money for it. If they can't sell it, then it goes to the market maker, their trading department. From an order routing system, the first place they're going to check is the dark pools. Remember those words, those ugly words, dark pools? Well, what that is basically they're going to trade and see if they have stock and inventory and sell you what they have. If they don't have stock and inventory, then it goes to the trading desk. That guy right there has a direct access system. He's going to try to buy it on the bid and sell it to you at the offer, and he's going to make the spread. Let me repeat that. You put an order out there. What he's going to do is buy it cheaper, which technically is buying it on the bid, and because he already has a seller, he's going to sell it to you for a profit. And then everyone's like, but what you all know about is your commission. And that's the least of your problems. Now you're out there and you're looking at, oh, yeah, I only paid $7 a ticket. Oh, I paid $3, $10. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the least of their concerns. They should be paying you the $7.10 because they're making $70, $80, several $100s on your trade. Okay? So that's where they make their orders, and then your order gets executed. So that's basically the way, if you're dealing with an online broker, and if you're cool with that and you like it, which I'm not, if you like them making several $100s on your trade every time you do it, then stick with your online broker. Now, are they bad people? No, not at all. Are they hypocrites when you hear them on TV? Of course, you never really hear the truth of what's going on TV. But this is what I was trained and taught. Because when I started trading, I thought opening up an E-Trade account was the way to go. Because I was sold, because I was a big football fan, and I saw the babies on CNBC. I said, oh, this must be a great system, online trading, online brokers. I don't have to deal with a traditional stockbroker anymore, pay those high fees, okay? But what they don't tell you is how they make your money in your order. So this is what they do to you. They make money on you hand over fist. They'll think they're giving you a great deal, but they're not. They're not. You think you're getting a good ticket deal? They're not, because they're making so much money on your order. So they'll try to tell you all these things about this great platform, this great system, but at the end of the day, they're ripping you off. They're convincing you that you're going to get something, you're going to get a great product, but you're really not. So what is direct access? Why are we here? What do we need it for then? Because you hear about it all the time. Well, what direct access is, you're driving your own car. Before you deal with public transportation, now you're driving your own car. So you have a seat on the exchange. So that's the first thing. 50% of the people who trade, 50% of you here that are trying to trade the market, and I hate to say this, and don't take this the wrong way because I live in New York, which is very, very straight to the point. We don't like to massage you, to give you any fluff. We're just telling you how it is. Half of you are going to fail by going out there and trading with an online broker because, and not that they're bad people. I mean, they work good with your, if you're doing like one trade a month, okay? But if you're an active trader, you need direct access. And you need to have a seat on that exchange because with that, you're going to see what goes on. You have to understand something. Sometimes if you want to see a change for the better, you have to take matters in your own hands. So when you're out there and you see these things and you're seeing people trading against you, and you know, like sometimes you feel like someone's watching you on the other side of the screen. It's like, I don't understand. Every time I sell the stock, the thing goes up. And every time I buy it, it goes down. But the thing is, it's not that they're watching you. It's just that you don't see what's really going on out there. You don't understand the supply and demand. You don't see the reverse psychology. And that's what you have to look at. So how do we do that? We need to start learning. And that's why you're all here. You probably learned the hard way. Some of you probably have been spending a lot of money in education, but you all understand. We all need to learn. I learn every day. Every time I trade, I learn something new. Every time I trade with my students, they learn something new. The thing is, we never stop learning. But some of you were just never taught how to trade the basics. And you think, and the biggest mistake, the very biggest mistake that most of you go out there is that you want to go out there and you want to start trading and see what it's like, and you're like, you know, let me try it first. Let me see if I like it. If I like it, then I'll go from there. But in the meantime, from there, first you have to start out trading, and you have to learn. So let's become traders to trade our own money. That's the bottom line. Let's start trading it and doing it on our own. And how do we do that? Well, first of all, you have to start understanding the tools that you need. Now, the number one tool, the first thing that converted me, that showed me that I was trading blind, was TotalView. Now, when I started, TotalView used to be called Instinet. Okay? Now they get these fancy names and everything. They keep changing them around. There's actually 3 levels. Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3. Probably most of you heard of Level 2 before. Level 2, you know, now that everybody here could trade with today's technology, brokerage firms now giving you Level 2 quotes for free, so you think you're seeing buyers and sellers. But at the end of the day, we used to pay $800, you know, when I first started. Now you get it for free. Think about it. Do you really think brokerage firms are going to let you see what they're doing? Definitely not. Okay? But now, Total View will let you see it. And this is the things that I teach my students. I show them how to follow the money. Think about it. How does anything in this world go up and down? Supply and demand. Well, the thing is this. Ask yourself a question. Think about this for a second. When you're in a trade, do you see the buyers and sellers? Do you see where they're getting in and getting out of a trade? Do you? Think about it. And chances are most of you are like, not really. But how much would that change the way you look at trading? How many of you would that actually change the way of going out there and saying, you know what, this is exactly what I need to see. If I was able to see the 71,000 share seller out there at $29.50, chances are I probably would have got out and stopped being greedy, because you know what? This stock will not go higher until somebody takes out that 71,000. Okay? Now, you get people that come out all the day long and they look at situations, they're like, oh yeah, I heard about these big buyers and sellers. They call them dark pools. You know what these are called? High frequency trading. Have any of you guys ever heard of it? High frequency trading? Well, that's what this is. You're getting to see the high frequency trades. And guess what? It runs 70% of the volume. 70%! Think about it. How many of you are watching 70% of the volume? I bet some of you don't even see 2% of the volume. 70%? What's wrong with that? How much smarter and better trades and more disciplined if you were able to see 70% of the high-frequency trades out there? For example, let's look at this one right here. Okay? Here you have a stock right here. You're looking at a chart. I assume a lot of you here know how to read charts. See, the stock goes up. It hits a major resistance level here right around $3, right? Now the stock comes back down to $2.92. Now we go back to right around the $2.98 price range. Now, in theory, 90% of you, 95% of you that read charts, that think you know how to read charts, that every indicator would tell you, would say, you know what? Because the stock had previous history in the past at this price, the stock should go down. Well, guess what? How many times have you traded a stock and it broke through resistance and you're sitting there wondering, like, I don't understand, how'd that happen? Or how many of you were thinking of buying it, but because you had a major resistance, you didn't want to buy it? Well, guess what? To have a resistance, you need sellers. Okay? Now look over here. These are the buyers. These are the sellers. If you look on the buy side, you got 75,000. If you look on the sell side, you got 2,000 shares looking to be sold. What do you think? 75,000 versus 2,000. Who do you think is going to win the tug of war? Now you sit there and ask yourself a question. When's the last time did you were able to see a 200 times buyer on the bid versus the offer? But most people do the opposite. You know what the problem with charts and indicators? They're lagging. Okay? And the thing is this. That is just what happened in the past. It's not indicative of the future. What is indicative of the future is the buyers and sellers, which a lot of you guys don't look at. So the thing is this. When you're trading in the market, things we need to look for. We need to look for buyers and sellers. You look down here at the bottom, and you're sitting there wondering, and you're watching a stock. I mean, think about it. How many times have you guys bought a stock, and you rode the stock down, and as soon as you sold it, the thing goes up? And I don't understand. Now it goes up. I was making money, and I just gave away through $200, $500 in a trade, and as soon as I sold it, the thing went up. Well, maybe, just maybe, if you saw the 13,000 share buyer out there, you probably wouldn't have taken the loss. You would say, you know what? I don't see support levels on the chart. I don't want to lose any more than I'm already losing. Let me get out. You know how many times I taught students that, and they stop and think about it and say, you know what? You're right. let's get at, but you're right, you're losing money, you want to cut your losses, because who knows how much lower it can get. But for this thing to go lower, that buyer, there's a big buyer out there. So you know what, maybe, just maybe, we should watch that big order out there first and see what he does. Now, if he gets executed or he cancels, then yes, it's definitely going down. But you just hit a major floor. And how do you know that? Not because the chart shows you that, because the buyers show you that. Now think about that, guys. How many of you here look at these stocks or whatever, and you could do this towards anything, futures, options, forex. How many of you here look for those orders? Because nobody here, I mean, you can go around, ladies and gentlemen, you'll find people out there, and I've done it. I've done a lot of speakings. I've been on a lot of boards. I've been on a lot of panels. And the thing is this. If you want to learn how to shadow money, there's very, very few people that will show you that, okay? And I am one of those people that do it all day long. Why is that? Because I was trained by some of the best traders in the world. Remember, I live in New York. I was trained by traders from Goldman, Shearson, you know, the top day trading firms, and they all trade exactly the same. And I want to hear the scary part. The more scary part. Trading became so much easier today than when I traded, because you know what? Everything is electronic now. Everything is program trading. You could be, you know what? The exchanges have adapted. The traders are now gone. Everything is more electronic. Everything's more computerized. Now, you're probably thinking, ooh, things are computerized, so you can't see it. That is BS. You can see everything more than you could even imagine. They got rid of man because they didn't want to pay them. They went to technology. So a lot of you guys are not seeing that technology out there. So when you go out there and trading, ladies and gentlemen, most of you might go out there and sit there and say, oh, but you got to learn this indicator, you got to learn that indicator. You know what? Why don't you learn how to shadow the money first? Why don't you look for the high-frequency trades, and that would make everything open up that much easier. And it all starts with having the right tools. Because without the right tools, which a lot of you are not doing today, within time, and that's why you're here, because there's some great speakers that we have today, and they are going to show you exactly some of the things. And what you all need, you need a mentor. And depending on what you trade. Now, about trading. Like I told you earlier, and I know some of you just starting to log in right now, the reason why I got into education is because when I started, trading was a part-time job. I only work part-time. I mean, I only work, realistically, probably I trade maybe for 30 minutes a day. That's it. Make my day's pay and get out. Funny story is my wife today, and I have three wonderful, three little boys, and my wife, before I got married, was my girlfriend back then. And my father-in-law back then, a very hardworking blue-collar guy, you know, he owned a body shop. And meanwhile, pull up in my nice Porsche, and my father-in-law would be like, okay, who's this kid pulling around, this 22-year-old kid pulling around in the Porsche? Well, what does his parents do? And, you know, my wife at the time told his dad, he says, no, he's a trader. He's like, okay, that's nice, so he works on Wall Street, he must be pretty good. You know, he must do him well. But the problem my father-in-law couldn't figure out is that I would take his daughter out to brunch every morning. And he's like, wait a minute, I never heard anybody that works, and he's off for the whole day. And at the time, he goes, you sure he's not like a drug dealer or something? But he knew I couldn't be a drug dealer because they work at night, not in the daytime. So he's like, no, he didn't believe me, and he's very, very skeptical of what I was doing. And eventually, you know, I confronted him. I says, hey, I'm Sirota, how are you? Listen, you know, I want to kind of show you what I do. And I brought him, I logged into my account on his computer, and I showed him, you know, exactly what I do, and I showed him how I trade. He's like, wow. He's like, could you teach me to do the same thing? He said, you know, he goes, because he was on the age of retiring. He's like, yeah, of course I could. Of course I could. And I showed him, he's like, And he's like, you know what, I always thought you had to deal with a stockbroker to do trades. I always thought you needed to like spend all this crazy money, or we didn't have this technology. And that was one of the starts of how I got into the education business, because I was working part-time, and then more and more people realized, like, wow, I thought trading was more difficult than what it was. I didn't know it was as simple as this. But what he did realize is that it does take time to learn it. Just like anyone here owns a business. You just don't wake up in the morning and says, you know what, I'm going to open up a body shop and do well. Meanwhile, you know nothing about the body shop business. Or just wake up one morning and says, you know what, I want to become a doctor. Let me do brain surgery on people. Let me see how that works. If I do well, then I'll get educated. Yeah, right. That's not working. Or how about this, a real truth. How many of you here would give your money to a financial planner, an analyst, or a stockbroker that never learned finance? How many of you? None of you. Well, guess what? You're doing that exact thing. You're acting like something that you would never learn how to do it. But the thing is, trade, and not only that, but a lot of you don't realize that trading, you're making it a full-time job more than what it is. If you're not spending 90% of your time during the day learning and having a mentor and being in classes and reviewing your recording, if you're spending more time on trading, well, guess what? You're never going to learn to be profitable. Just being honest, because trading, a lot of it is only done at certain times of the day. If you're trading Forex, if you're doing swing trading, if you're doing day trading, there's only a small window that you need to spend to learn. But you know what? It's a great job. It's a great job. And just for an example, look at this. Here's a basic chart. Look at this stock right here. It started at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time at $2.70. It ran all the way up in a matter of 45 minutes, ran to $3.25. $3.25, do the math. You're talking literally almost 50 cents. Do you know what 50 cents on 1,000 shares is? That's $500. You know $500 times 5 days a week times 52 weeks a year? Talking over $130,000. Who doesn't want that job? Who's here and said, you're telling me I can make $130,000 working 30 minutes a day? Absolutely you can. Absolutely. You know why you can't do it? Because no one ever showed it to you. Or maybe you were some of the people out there trying to learn on your own, and that's why most people fail. Now, hopefully everybody here, because we're not talking, I mean, I've spoken, I've trained hundreds of thousands of people in my time, you know, and my goal is I always try to explain to everybody, listen, trading's not for everybody. It's not. If it was, we will all be doing it and we will all be rich, okay? And we will all be here today. But there are people in this world that are just ignorant and will continue to lose because, you know, they want to go out there and they're just lazy and just figure that I'll just go out there and try to learn on myself. But that is when eventually, hopefully you, that's why a lot of you are here today, because you're making that investment in yourself. You say, you know what, I'm here at MTI's event, I'm here to listen to Fausto, I'm here to learn why these professional experts do well at what they do. And you will all tell you the same thing. We all had a mentor, we were all trained, okay, and it took time. And that's what you guys have to look at it. Because, and we will all tell you the same thing, trading is the best job in the world. It really is. Best job in the world. Because you can take time off, you could do it anywhere in the world. You are your own boss. There's nobody there. You could spend more time with your family. You could spend more time with your kids. It's a part-time job, trading. And now in the beginning, it's not because you're spending a lot of time educating, you know, training yourself. But after that, you know, like how many of you here are retired? You think you want to sit there and be there 8 hours a day and trade all day? Spend time with your grandkids. Spend time more with your wife or your husband, whatever it is. You know, but, you know, how many of you on Social Security just make a couple extra $100 a day? It's a great job. But yeah, and it really is. Now remember, the only reason why I'm not doing this today is because when I started, you know, being 24-year-old, it was not the most exciting thing about being semi-retired. I mean, how many times could you go fishing? I live here on Long Island. How many times could I go golfing? How many times could I see a matinee? You know, and that's why I love teaching. we're no different. I'm no different than any, professor at any college, going to Harvard. You're talking the best professors in the world, the best college in the world out there. Well, do you know that those professors at that college own one of the best practices in the attorney business? And you know why they're also even there? Because just like myself, I recruit my students. I recruit my students to open up, being instructors. I have students that open up their own schools, giving it back into the industry. Now, confusion. What are we looking at right here? How many of you have a chart that looks like this? How many of you? Bollinger Bands, MACDs, moving average, SMAs, pivot points, that looks like my 5-year-old school project, okay? I don't even understand how people actually read that stuff. So, there you are, you're like, but everybody told me that's what you need to learn. That's what you need to do. You know what? And then here you are. You're no different than any other little kid out there, okay? But the thing is this. Trading comes with something called the KISS method, okay? It's called Keep It Super Simple. One thing I teach my students, the first thing I teach you, is how to throw all that stuff away and how to play the game, keeping it very, very simple. If you can't read a simple chart, if you can't see and follow the money, and knowing that the support resistance level, where you see those big block orders, they make those support resistance levels. You don't need an indicator to go out there. Now, it works. Indicators work for swing trading and investing and all that stuff, slower markets. But I'm telling you right now, it does not work for day trading, period. So how do we find all these stocks? That's the next thing people ask me. Yeah, I know that I need the education, but some of you, I don't know if you follow us on Twitter, some of you ever tried out and saw any of our live trading events that I've done, where I've done live trading in the market. Finding stocks is the easiest thing in the world, okay? First place I go is I go through the top percentage gainers and losers. Now what I do is I scan this market, and I do a meeting at 9 a.m. with all my traders, all my students. Okay. Hopefully, I'll get the opportunity where you could join us and see me trade live in the market and see why I was a 12-time champion. Going out there, watching how we scan the markets, looking for certain stocks, because you know what? You can't trade every single stock in the market. You only need one to make a day's pay. And you know what? I rarely ever have a problem finding stocks that move a minimum of 20 to 50% a day. Minimum. Some of you will mortgage your house if I was able to show you 20, 30% a year on your money. Guess what? Every day we find stocks like this. And when I say every day, and sometimes not one, several a day. Hell, BIOF, a stock that we trade. I'm going to show you a couple of stocks right now. By the way, if anybody wants to follow us on our Twitter, here's just our Twitter handle. Let me just give this to you right now. You can go to @CyberTradingU. This is our free one. Every day we do a recap of what we traded on the day. If you guys want to do your research and be like, you know what, Fausto, I don't believe you. I don't believe that you found these stocks, okay? Go there right now, and you can read every single trade that we do every day. And not only that, you can see it on our homepage or our website. And not only that, also, go to our YouTube channel. You could actually, we record clips all day long, okay? Every day we do our events, our live trading. I'll put it out there so you guys can watch a quick video just to see it even exists. Now, some of the stocks that we do, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you ever heard of them, but we tweet and text everything. Mankind, KD, BLDP, all these stocks. I don't even know what these stocks do. And you know what? You don't even care. You care what you trade? You really care? What's more important to you, making money or the stock that you traded? Ooh, it's Apple. Ooh, I got to trade. I hear it's a good stock, good company. It's a lot of money, so it must be good. You think I really? My mentors told me that's the biggest failure rate in the industry. And they're right. Why are you here? You're here to make money. You think when you sit down at the dinner table and you talk to your husband or wife and you say, oh, honey, how was work today? Yeah, I traded this stock. And be like, I made $500 and be like, on that stock, or $1,000 in a day you made on that stock. And you think she cares what the stock does? All she cares about you making money. Most people don't realize that. ICPT, one of my biggest winners. Okay, we tweeted and texted. It's up 279% in one day. I don't know if anybody here is a student of mine, but you all know this was one of my biggest winners. Actually, it's one of the stocks helped me buy my brand new Rolex. But here's the stock. I don't know why the stock is up. I don't really care. But this was our biggest winner. We had a big winner in ICPT. Stock went from 75 to 500. I mean, we find stocks like this all day long. We tweeted and texted. Then the stock went up 169% after that. Do I own it? No. I made my day's pay. I made my money on the stock. I don't need to go crazy on it. But these stocks are out there every day. Plug, another one, up 200%. Who traded Plug? Stock was $1.50, went to $4.50. Where'd it go, to $8? We went, and not only that, but it was trading with BLDP and, very similar to all of them. Plug, BLDP, and I think there was another one. I've got the symbol of it off the top of my head. But we trade stocks. We find them all day long. Now, do I care what Plug does? No. All I know is it was moving. It was in the big percentage gainers. We made a day's pay. NBIS up 123% today. Here's a stock that went from 3 to 408. You think I really care? Not at all. Not at all. But we made money on it. Up 123%. When's the last time that you were ever in a stock that was up 123%? Guess what? We do this every day. And if you don't believe me, read my Twitter page. Come and join me and watch me trade during the day. Remember, this is what I was trained to what to do from my mentors. And let me tell you, I've seen more stocks today than 5 or 10 years ago, up more percentage gainers today than I've ever seen before. OXBT, another big winner. Okay? Look at right here in the open. I want you to point this out. This is why I trade part-time. Right here at 930, it goes from 570 all the way up to 660. I mean, doesn't sound like a lot, right? Yeah, on 1,000 shares, that's almost $1,000 right there. And then it made another big move going right into the close. Went from 7 to 740. Are you going to cry over, here's some of my students, right? You had a big winner in Cyber Group OXBT, over 25 traders with a profit of $1,000 or more. Have a great weekend. These are some tweets that I put out to all my students, all my traders, all my students that joined me. Here, and this stock literally went from here, back in November, we traded the stock, went from $1 to 11. Now, what does this company does? Who cares? We are here to make money. That's what we're here for. YRCW, another big winner. Stock right here at the open. This is why I trade part-time. Stock went from 9 all the way to 12. In what? An hour. Even if you chased it, if you made 20 cents on that trade, that's all that matters. So, finding stock, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty easy. Okay, teaching you how to do it, that's where the time comes in, and that's where you guys have to take a step back. I'm going to make a guarantee to everybody. You ready for the guarantee? When you and I die, the market will still be here. Okay? So the thing is this. Don't rush. I know everybody wants to make money tomorrow, but at the end of the day, you have to learn before you could earn. Now, if anybody wants an article on the dark pools, I know everyone's asking me, what about dark pools and this? Listen, I don't know why they make things more scary and try to make it look worse than what they are. Ooh, the HFTs. These are incentives for you. It's not a disadvantage. They're advantages. If you want to learn more about it, I'll give you my email address and at the just in a few more slides, and you'll be able to take it down and email me. So I'm almost pretty much finished here. I know I was running a little behind. I know I have to pass the microphone back to MTI. It's James. but just a couple of things. Discipline. You got to learn how to play the market. And I think most of the students I have, which is the hardest thing to teach, which is my biggest failure rate, and I'm just telling you, not all my students are successful, and everyone, I think every instructor would tell you this, it's because of the discipline. But the thing is, if you follow the rules and you have a mentor and he's there to hold your hand, eventually you'll understand it, and it's like a light bulb. It just kicks in. So, know what your profit goals are, daily, monthly, be realistic. How many of you guys have a goal to make 50 cents out of the market? 50 cents. Sounds like peanuts, right? 50 cents. What the hell is 50 cents? You know what 50 cents is on 1,000 shares? It's $500 a day. It's $120,000 a year. Part-time. What's wrong with that? You know what's wrong with that? People get greedy and they try to make more. And that's where guys like myself come in and we crack the whip and says, enough's enough. Like their students, they laugh in my trading room, and I kick them out of my room. I says, okay, oh, John, you made your money today? Boom. I just banned him from the room for the day. He's like, why did you do that? Because you made your money. I don't want you to lose it. Wouldn't it be nice if you ever went to the casino and they were able to watch you? What did they? Listen, I'm not Caesar's Palace. I don't make money on you losers. Okay? You think I want you to walk away? You think they want you to walk away with their winnings? Not to compare this as a casino and everything, but you know what? You know what the definition of gambling is? Not having control. And if you have somebody that's going to give you that mentorship, you'll do well. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, just to let you guys know, Cybertree University was ranked #1 school 6 years in a row by Equities Magazine. I was also a 12-time champion at the Money Show and Traders Expo. I beat every single school that I competed against. Okay, and the reason why is because I am a market maker. I was trained by the best. I live in New York. And if you want to learn how to specifically day trade, if you really want to learn how to be an investor or trade the markets, I needed to go out there and prove myself to everyone that I know what I was doing. Also, we teach with some of the most brand-new brokerage firms in the industry, Thinkorswim, FXCM, Lightspeed, Trade Monster. I'm actually going to be in, I'm doing a big presentation with Option Monster with the Nigerian brothers in Vegas. You can actually learn more about it in October. Look forward to hopefully see everybody there. But this is just to name a few. We do education for about 50 brokerage firms all over the world. And the reason why they want you to get educated, the #1 reason why, and the only reason why we trade with these brokerage firms is because if you knew how to trade and you can make money, then you'll be a client of theirs for life. Their acquisition cost to have to find you and open up an account, the last thing they want you to do is lose your money. Direct access firms do not make money on your losses. They make money on your tickets. Okay? If you trade and you're there with them forever, then that's what they want. But that's why Cybertree University doesn't do education for a lot of online brokers, because we basically contradict everything they want you to learn. You think they want you to make money? You think they, because if you know what their secrets are, guess what? You basically, you know what? And this is what you all should do. Everybody got a pen and paper? Write this down. Everyone ready? I want you to write this down, and then Monday you call them up and you email me on Monday. You tell me what they say. This is what you do. Ask them if they're a direct access firm. Ask them if they give you ECN capability, give you total view, where you can place your own orders. And I guarantee 95% of you are going to come back to me and said, the guy didn't know what he was talking about. He said he didn't know what I was talking about. He didn't know what he says, like, totally had no idea. He said he'll get back to me. Mark my words. Is that who you want to do business with? No. So how can I start today to make money, ladies and gentlemen? Well, this is what you need to do. I'm going to give 2 workshops, okay? It's a $500 value, okay? This is a recording of my 2 most popular courses on ECN's Electronic Communication Network, which is going to allow you to see real live orders, how they trade in direct access, and how to monitor time and sales, because time and sales are what control the charts. So these are 2 workshops for $49, okay? It's once you register online, when you log into your dashboard on Cybertree University, You'll be able to see it right up there, start watching them. And let me tell you, just these 2 recordings alone, these 2 workshops that you're going to get are going to totally change your whole perspective about trading. And you're going to be realizing how much you've been trading blind all these years. So, $49, you're not breaking the bank. The worst thing that could happen to you by doing this is you're going to learn something. That's the worst thing that could happen to you. So imagine the good thing that comes out of it. Now, before I go, ladies and gentlemen, once again, also, when you do register, call our office and make sure if you have any questions, talk to an education advisor and they'll explain your purchase. You can call now. If the lines are busy, just leave a voice message. We only have a few staff members on file today, on staff today because it's Saturday. But we'll get back to you first thing in the Monday. Now, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, okay, and before I pass the microphone over to James, there's several hundred people here today, okay? And with that said, I just want to kind of address something that will apply to all of you here listening to all the presenters. There are some of you here that are going to move forward with some of us mentors, okay, some of us experts. And some of you are going to go here and make a small investment to know what trading is all about, okay? That's going to start to change your life, to make you realize this is what you need. And we all going to appreciate it, and we all love it. And, you know, and like I said, we're actually looking forward to you being part of the family. But there are some of you here, there's 2 good people here. There's people here going to continue with the education, and then the other person here is going to realize that trading is not for you, and you're better off going back to your day job. And I love that. I had so many. If you go to our testimonials, you'll see so many people that say, Fausto, thank you for telling me what I didn't know, and I realized trading is not for me. I'm going back to work because it's just, you know, I'm just not disciplined or just don't get it, okay? And it's great to see. Those are 2 winners that are going to come out of here, but there's going to be 1 loser. There's going to be 1 loser out of all of you. And those are the ones I want to kind of make sure that I'm very clear about, because I don't want you guys going around to make trading looking very negative. There's some of you out there that are going to try to say, you're going to go out there and try to learn and think that there's a lot of free information out there for you to learn, okay? Let me just tell you something. The only thing that's free is the cheese in the mousetrap. Don't be the self-taught individual out there, okay? Yes, you learned a lot today. Yes, you're going to learn a lot more from the other experts that you're speaking today. But you don't learn how to trade in an hour. You don't learn from watching YouTube videos, free YouTube videos. You don't have someone that's going to explain it. Books don't talk back to you, okay? Videos don't talk back to you. You need to be part of somebody. So for everybody here that is in door number 3, please do yourself a favor, make a small investment to one of us who you like and learn from it. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I'd like to thank James. I'd like to thank MTI for having me here. For everyone, enjoy the rest of this, your Saturday. I think you got a lot of great speakers here. And once again, I look forward to teaching every one of you, hopefully, at Cybertree University. And like I said, you have my email address. It's right there, FaustoPSCTUcorp.com. Follow us on Twitter or Facebook or on our YouTube channel. Check out our videos. But like I said, remember the last most important thing. You have to learn before you can earn. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your Saturday.